Hello, Nobby.
Hello, Luton. How you been keeping?
I've been worse. Of course, I've been better, too. And I've been a hell of a lot better and not much worse.
That's good, isn't it?
Don't worry. If Commander Vimes sees us together, I'll tell him I made you talk to me.
It's not that I don't like you, Luton. I mean, we was friends and all. But it's just... well...
It's just he'd bite your head off if he saw you talking to me.
He'd go spare.
How you been keeping, Nobby? How's the rest of the watch?
Not so bad, Luton. Been keeping myself busy. Been working with Sergeant Colon.
How is old Fatty Colon?
Still fat. I'll tell him I saw you.
No, you won't.
Okay, so maybe I won't. I was just being trite.
Polite.
Yeah, that's the one.
I guess I never really understood why it was that you didn't get kicked out as well, Nobby.
Me? I ain't never done nothing wrong.
Don't give me that, Nobby. When you were serving as quartermaster under the Duke of Pseudopolis, it was widely known that several items from the stores were found in your kit.
That was all above board. I had all the paperwork for him.
Your kit at the time consisted of 2 warehouses. I just think Vimes had a grudge against me.
Luton, I know you're my friend and all, but you took a bribe.
Are you trying to tell me you never took a bribe?
Never.
The ham from Harga's House of Ribs?
Evidence.
The pocket clock from the Suicide in the Shades?
I wanted something to remember him by.
The money in the petty cash box?
Mislaid by someone.
Misappropriated by you.
I never misanthropated anything.
I just want to understand why it was that you could get away with all your petty theft, and I couldn't get away with one act of weakness.
Well, you see,
Just say it, Nobby. I'm not gonna hold it against you.
well, I reckon Mr. Vimes thinks that a bit of petty theft ain't something to get excited about. I ain't admitting anything, mark you. Nothing's ever been proved. Got compared to some of the stuff that goes on in this city. But someone who's taken a bribe, well, that's like allowing the rich to avoid justice.
That wasn't why I did it.
I know. But you know Vimes.
Yeah, I know Vimes all right. What's Vimes up to these days?
He got married.
Married? He was only ever married to his job.
Nah, straight up. He married into nobility.
Old Stoneface in the nobility. That'd drive him crazy.
Well, he's sort of nobility himself now.
What?
They made him commander of the watch. And we got a great new premises down on Pseudopolis Yard. They're full of paintings and vases and all sorts.
Full?
Well, maybe not as full as when we moved in, but pretty full.
I'll have to call round sometime.
Yeah, that'd be good. We got a lot more members in the watch these days. And we got a new dartboard.
Life in the fast lane, huh? Do you seriously think it's a good idea for me to call around? I mean, Vimes isn't gonna like it.
Whatever you may think about him, he's loyal to his job. I can't say he'll welcome you with open arms, but he won't stop you.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
I'm not getting drawn into anything while I'm off duty. Wait till I'm back at the yard.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
Can't this wait till I get back to the yard? I'm off duty.
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy?
I'm not getting drawn into anything while I'm off duty. Wait till I'm back at the yard.
Carlotta had hired me to track at the beginning that... I'll catch you later, Nobby. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, don't get caught doing anything I wouldn't do. I figured the golem wouldn't notice that the crowbar had gone missing. Not that I'm saying it didn't need it, just that I'd figured I'd get away with stealing it. The cart was being loaded with barrels of wine. Apart from the wine, I can't say I was interested. The cart was being loaded with... Apart from the wine... I guess I never really noticed that the Café Ankh had a wine cellar before. Perhaps if they'd run out of drinks at the bar, I'd have been more inclined to investigate. A crate. What more could I say? I didn't much like being jammed into a crate and loaded onto the ship, but I could think of worse fates. Like being jammed into a crate full of rats and loaded onto the ship. What's your name then, little fellow? The hold was dark and dank, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. The bilge water was littered with flotsam that looked like the remains of a smashed crate. A bunk bed like any other. A perfectly ordinary bunk bed. I pulled the label out of the wreckage. It had writing on it that I couldn't understand. I searched a bunk and found a small scrap of cardboard. It could have been anything. There was a number on the back. Either a 6 or a 9. It was hard to say. I searched one of the bunks, but found nothing useful, and nothing I wanted to think too closely about. I wasn't about to tear the bedpost off the bed. There were some strange scratches on the bedpost, which looked as if they'd been caused by either a wild animal or a man with very bad dental hygiene. What they meant was anyone's guess. I'd managed to remain hidden on the ship, but I knew my luck couldn't last forever, because I'd stopped being lucky around age 12. The first mate looked less than happy, but I don't think he saw who I was as I dived in elegantly onto the Ankh. Fortunately, the crust of the Ankh was soft that night, and I escaped both injury and discovery, although I needed 2 baths just to feel dirty. On an ordinary night, I'd sit around waiting for business. But this night, business was coming to me, and bringing trouble with it. Business, I didn't mind, but trouble was an unwelcome guest. And like all unwelcome guests, it was hard to ask it to leave. And by the 3rd day, it was generally wearing your shirts and leaving its stuff in your bathroom.
Hello, Mr. Luton. I've been expecting you.
I should hope so. This is my office. How'd you get in?
Through the door. It was only locked. I know all about doors.
Good. Use this one to get out.
I have a message for you, Mr. Luton.
I don't take messages from strangers.
Then let me introduce myself. My name is Mr. Al-Khali.
I don't take messages from dwarves named after cities.
My name isn't important.
You seem to think it was.
I've come to warn you to stay clear of the Mundy case.
I'll bear that in mind. Now get out.
If you don't stay clear of the Mundy case, something untoward may happen to you.
This is Ankh-Morpork. Something untoward may happen to me whether I investigate this case or not. Now either you get out or I'll throw you out.
Don't say I didn't warn you, Mr. Luton.
Don't say I didn't ignore you, Mr. Al-Khali. A dwarf named after the Klatchian city of Al-Khali. And a threat. This case was getting more interesting by the minute. All we needed was a troll and a member of the undead, and we could open an ethnic comedy on Broadway. All I had to do was track down Mundy and tell Carlotta where he was. I had purchased a large indexed scroll rack to keep track of all the cases I was going. The Mundy case made it 2.
Hello, Luton.
How's it going?
Mustn't.
Have you heard of the Milka? It arrived in town a short time ago.
How long ago?
3 days.
That's strange.
Why?
Well, there's been a string of odd murders in the last 3 days.
What do you mean, odd? I mean, this is Ankh-Morpork we're talking about.
I'm not sure I should discuss the details with a pavilion.
A civilian, Nobby. How much have you had to drink?
I'm as sober as the day I was born.
That's a frightening thought. Since that was who I'd learned about that from in the first place, I didn't feel I'll catch you later, Nobby. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. I headed over to Pseudopolis Yard, but Nobby wasn't there yet. I decided to come back later. You could say this about Nobby. Deep down, he was a good man. Well, deep down, he was probably a man. Good might be stretching it a bit. Hello again, Nobby.
Hello, Luton.
Did I disturb you?
No. What made you think that?
Well, there appears to be smoke coming from your ear.
Oh, that. Well, I've been working hard, you see.
Working so hard that your ears have caught fire. Don't worry about it, Nobby. It's not like I'm going to report you.
I have been working, see?
Oh, sure. I never doubted it for a second. How's work treating you then?
Not so bad, Luton. I've been busy, though. Rushed off my feet.
Yeah, I can tell. Any word on these murders?
Nothing yet. But our top investigators are working on the case 24 hours a day.
Nobby?
Yeah?
Are you one of those crack investigators?
Yeah? Why?
Never mind. Just a thought. Do you know anything about some passengers that came into town by ship a few days ago?
That's not much to go on.
You're a corporal in the watch. You're supposed to have a keen, insightful mind.
They brought that regulation in after I joined.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
I don't know.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Never heard of him.
Do you know a dwarf by the name of Al-Khali?
Never heard of him.
How did you know he was male, then?
You can't trick me. Everyone knows dwarves don't use the female pronoun.
Okay.
Mind you, I've always wondered what a female pronoun was.
One of nature's wonderful mysteries, Nobby.
Is it normally kept covered or what?
I'm going to leave it to your rather uninventive imagination, Nobby. Have you learnt anything about the Milka?
Yeah, not as such, no.
You go to great lengths to conceal how little work you do, don't you?
Hey,
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy?
never heard of him.
Catch you later, Nobby.